in the previous lecture of the oscillator, we have discussed about a Barkhausen criteria. Barkhausen criteria is for a sustained oscillation. So, what was the Barkhausen criteria? Delta K into AV it should be equal to 1. So, what is the K into AV? It is known as a loop gain of your feedback amplifier. So, whenever this loop gain is unity, then you can have a sustained oscillation. Then another condition is that whatever the loop gain we have, that the phase difference of this loop gain must be a 0 degree or a 360 degree. Means the input signal of this oscillator and the feedback signal, the phase difference between both the signal should be a 0 degree, 360 degree. Then only you can have a positive feedback. And if this amplifier circuit is satisfying these two conditions, then your amplifier will convert it into a oscillator circuit. Now today in this lecture, we will discuss one of the oscillator circuit, and that is known as a Wien bridge oscillator. So let us see what is the Wien bridge oscillator. So, before we discuss the oscillator circuit, we should know what is the property of a Wien bridge. Correct? So, if we see the circuit diagram of this Wien bridge, then it is like this. So, in a Wien bridge network, you can see we have a two resistance and two capacitors are there. Here in this part, the resistance and capacitor is connected in series, and this will actually work as a high pass filter. So upper part of the network is working as a high pass filter. In a lower part of the network, the resistance and capacitors are connected in parallel, and this is going to be work as a low pass filter. So ultimately this network is working as a band pass filter. Remember, Wien bridge network is nothing but it is a kind of a band pass filter with a high quality factor. This Wien bridge is also known as a lead leg network, because here in upper part and the lower part, the phase difference between the current and voltage is going to be different. So here it is also known as a lead leg network. Now let us see what is the frequency response of this network. Here it is working as a band pass filter, means for a particular frequency, the output of the network will be a large, and for the rest of the frequency, it will be a less. So here if we apply a different frequency, remember at the Vin is 0, and here if I will apply the frequency F1, F2, F3, and correspondingly if I will measure the VO1, VO2, VO3 output voltage of this network, then you will find that output characteristics will be like this. You can see this network, you can see this frequency response, that I am applying a frequency F1, F1, F2, F3. As my frequency is increasing, then the output voltage of this network is also increasing, and at particular frequency, here at this particular frequency, the voltage is maximum, and then after again here the output is go on decreasing. So actually what is happening? that here when my frequency is low, at that time this capacitor reactance is very high and it will work as a open circuit, so it will not allow the signal, and therefore in this case the voltage is less. Now as the frequency is increasing, the reactances go on decreasing, so the output voltage is go on increasing. Now at a higher frequency, what will happen? This capacitor reactance is also go on decreasing, and we are taking the output voltage across the capacitor. So if this capacitor will work as a short circuit, then naturally this output voltage will go on decreasing. So in this way, by changing the frequency, the output voltage is going to be vary in this manner, and at particular frequency we have a maximum voltage. And here you can say the attenuation of the network, attenuation of this network is minimum for this particular frequency, and exactly if you measure this voltage, then it is 1/3 of the input voltage will be there. Now here the second characteristic, that if you go on changing the frequency and if you measure what is the phase difference between the input signal and the output signal, then initially when the frequency is low, then the initial phase is going to be a 90 degree. As the frequency is increasing, the phase difference between the input and output is decreasing, and at this particular phase, at particular point, here the phase difference is 0. And then as we increase the frequency, then the phase is go on changing, and it is going to be -10, -20, -30, and maximum it is up to a -90 degree. So in a wind bridge, as we change the frequency, the output voltage is changing. At the same time, the phase difference between the input and output is also changing. So here what is important for the oscillation? That here we require this point where the phase difference is 0. And the second point is that for this particular frequency, the output voltage is maximum. Means we can say that the bridge, this wind bridge network has selected a one particular frequency F, and that's why this circuit is also known as a frequency selective network. So actually here also it is working as a kind of a resonance circuit. In resonance already you know, for that particular frequency the output voltage is going to be a maximum, and the phase difference at that point is also going to be a 0. So it is due to this property we are going to use this network for the generating a frequency. Okay? So now let us see what is actually a circuit diagram for the oscillator circuit. Okay. So now let us see a practical wind bridge oscillator circuit. Now try to understand the circuit diagram. So basically here what we require is the loop gain. The phase difference between your input signal and the feedback signal must be a 0 degree. Now if you look at this circuit diagram, then here we have a amplifier circuit. This is the first stage of the amplifier. This is the second stage of the amplifier is there. Now we know that the amplifier is providing a 180 degree of a phase shift, and another amplifier is also providing a 180 degree of the phase shift. Both are the common emitter amplifier. So the total phase difference is a 360 degree, or you can say it is a 0 degree. Means the phase difference between this input voltage and this output voltage is a 360 degree. Now this output voltage is connected to a wind bridge. So this output voltage is applied to this wind bridge, and the output voltage of the wind bridge is working as a input voltage for the amplifier or you can say it is my feedback voltage. Now we know that the phase difference here, if we have a positive cycle like this, positive cycle at the input, then the output of the first amplifier, it is going to be a inverted. Then again the output of the second stage of the amplifier, it is going to be inverted again. So you can see that this phase difference between this feedback voltage and the output voltage is a 0 degree. Now this signal is applied to the bridge. Now we know that for a particular frequency, the bridge is not going to offer any kind of a phase difference. So if this input signal is like this, then the output signal of the feedback will be also in the same phase. So whatever the bridge network we have, it is going to be introduced the 0 degree phase shift here. So if you take the total of this, then it is a 360 degree, means the Barkhausen criteria, condition for the Barkhausen criteria is going to be satisfied, and here we have a kind of a positive feedback. Now the same thing is simplified in this diagram. Then you can see that whatever the transistor Q1 is there, it is representing the amplifier 1, Q2 is representing the amplifier 2, this amplifier is providing a 180 degree, this is also providing a 180 degree, so the total phase at this point is 360 degree. Now this signal is given to the main bridge, and here this is your a high pass filter, and this one is your low pass filter. Now output of the main bridge is connected to the input of the amplifier circuit. So whatever the output voltage is present here, this output voltage is present at the input of the bridge circuit. And the output of the bridge circuit, that is known as a feedback voltage, you can say, or it is called a input voltage. And just as I explained, for a particular frequency, this is not going to offer any kind of a phase. So the phase difference is 0, and here we have a total phase of 360 degree. Now we have to find out that what is another condition for the Barkhausen criteria, that is the K into AV is equal to 1. Correct? So if you can find out a feedback factor, we can calculate what will be the gain. Because here the K into AV has to be satisfied. Means what should be the minimum value of a gain of the amplifier. So we have to find out the gain of the amplifier, and for that we will calculate the K, and from that you can find out the voltage gain of the amplifier. Correct? So in that case, for finding a voltage gain, we will have to find out the feedback factor. So feedback factor depends on what? It depends on the only a bridge network. So let us see what is the bridge network, and from the bridge network we calculate the feedback factor, and from that you can find out what is the gain of the amplifier. Correct? So just concentrate on this part of your network. Correct? Here. Let us see. This resistance is a R1. This resistance is R1. This capacitor is C1. This is R2 and C2. So actually in a practical oscillator circuit, R1 and R2 both are same. C1 and C2 are also same. But here we take a general, we will find out a general expression. Okay. Now the output voltage of the amplifier is applied here. Already we have seen the previous circuit. Correct? And the output of the feedback network, which is working as a input voltage for the amplifier, or it is, we call this as a feedback voltage Vf. So if I want to write what is the feedback factor, Then the feedback factor we can write as K is equal to, according to definition, the feedback voltage divided by the output voltage. Correct? So, what is the feedback voltage? And for that, let us assume some current. Here, let us say in this network, some current I is going to be passed. Now, this current is passing through the resistance and capacitor. They are in series, so the same current will be there. So, in series combination, the current I will be present. And here also, this parallel combination is in series with this combination. So, the same current I is also passing through this R and C, R2 and C2. Correct? Because of whatever the current is there, that the current absorbed by the amplifier is very, very small. So, we can assume this current as the same one. So, when this current is passing through this R2 and C2, it is going to produce a feedback voltage Vf. And due to this current, whatever the we have, then we can calculate what is the output voltage Vo. Now resistance R2 and C2, they are in parallel. So let us say this impedance of the circuit is Zi. Zi means it is a impedance, it is a input impedance of your amplifier circuit. That's why I am writing it as Zi. Now, whatever the impedance is provided by the series combination and the parallel combination, let us say the total impedance is Zo, because it is a output voltage. It is connected to the output of the amplifier circuit. So here we designate this as a 0, and this impedance we write as a Zi. So if I want to write the feedback voltage, then the voltage is equal to I into R. So we can say I into Zi divided by same way I into Zo. Correct? Means the feedback factor K is a ratio of a input impedance to the output impedance. And here, what is the Barkhausen criteria? That K into AV is equal to 1. So the AV is equal to 1 upon K. And therefore we can write 1 upon K means it is a Zo upon Zi. So, if we find out the output impedance and the input impedance, we can calculate what is the gain of the amplifier. Now, what is Zi? Here, you can see in the network, Zi means there is a parallel combination of resistance and capacitor. So, we can write as R2 plus Xc2. Means Xc2 is a reactance of sorry. Resistance R2 is parallel to the capacitor C2. So we have to consider what is the reactance of the capacitor. R2 parallel to Xc2, or we can say it is R2 into Xc2 divided by R2 plus Xc2. That is my input impedance. Now let us see what is the output impedance. So output impedance, here initially you can see that the resistance R1 and C1, they are in series. So we can write R1 plus Xc1, and this series combination is in series with the parallel combination of R2 and C2. So here we have a R2 parallel C2, so Xc2 will be there. Ultimately, this expression comes out to be a R1 plus Xc1 plus R2 Xc2 divided by R2 plus Xc2. Right? So you can say this is my expression 1, this is expression 2, and this one is expression 3. And therefore, if I want to calculate the gain of the amplifier, then it is a ratio of 0 by Zi. So 0 by Zi is equal to R1 plus XC1 plus R2 XC2 divided by R2 plus XC2 divided by we have AZI. So R2 XC2 divided by R2 plus XC2. So now if we simplify this expression, then we can calculate what is the gain of the amplifier circuit. And the simplification is also very simple. Here R2 plus XC2 is there. It will be multiplied with the R1 and then it will be multiplied with XC1. Then we can write this as a R1 R2 plus R1 XC2 plus R2 XC1 plus XC1 into XC2 plus R1 XC2. Remember, R2 XC2 is multiplied with this R1 and XC1 where we have this term, and then it is going to be divided by R2 XC2. Then here this term and this term is going to be cancelled out. So now, what is the gain of this amplifier? Right? So AV equal to now R1 R2 divided by R2 XC2. So in that case R2 will be cancelled. The first term will be R1 divided by XC2. Here R1 R2 divided by R2 XC2. So R2 will be cancelled. So the first term will be R1 divided by XC2. Now what is the second term? In second term R1 XC2 divided by R2 XC2. So XC2 will be cancelled and your second term will be R1 divided by R2. Then in third term R1 XC1 divided by R2 XC2. So R2 and R2 is going to be cancelled. We have XC1 divided by XC2. Then in the fourth term, the XC2 will be cancelled and this will be a XC1 divided by R2. And in fifth term, if you see, R2 XC2 is divided by R2 XC2, so it is equal to a 1. So just we are simplifying this expression. Now this expression I can also write in this way, that 1 plus R1 by R2 plus XC1 by XC2 plus R1 XC2 plus XC1 by R2. Okay? Now here we will put what is the XC1 and XC2. So XC1 and XC2 is XC1 is equal to what? You can say 1 upon j omega c. That is the reactance of the capacitor. Xc is given by 1 upon j omega c, or you can write as minus j by omega c. And therefore the gain of the amplifier AV will comes out to be a 1 plus R1 by R2 plus here we have XC1, that is a 1 upon j omega C1. This is also a 1 upon j omega C2 plus R1 divided by 1 by j omega C2 plus 1 by j omega C1 divided by R2. So we are now writing this voltage gain in terms of the frequency, and that's why we introduce Xc is equal to Xc equal to 1 upon j omega c. So this expression comes out to be 1 plus R1 by R2. Here the j omega will be cancelled and you will get C2 by C1. And here the 1 upon j omega C2 is there. So this will be written as R1 into j omega C2. And this is written as 1 upon j omega R2 into C1. Right? So my gain of the amplifier AB comes out to be 1 plus R1 by R2 plus C2 by C1. So first three terms are as it is. Now if you see this third and fourth terms, they are a imaginary term. And from this, if you take a j common, so here plus j common, then in the bracket we have R1 omega C2 will be there and minus 1 upon omega R2 C1 will be there. Remember, if I am taking a plus j common, so R1 omega C2 minus 1 upon omega R2 into C1. Now, in this expression, here you can say this is my real term and this is the imaginary term. So, here the gain of the amplifier, this expression is representing what? That the gain of the amplifier is a complex. But we know that the gain of the amplifier is not a complex, it is a real. Whatever the input voltage we apply, we can see that amplified output voltage. So it is actually a real. And if you see the Barkhausen criteria, then what is the Barkhausen criteria? That is a K into AV is equal to 1. And the same thing I can also write as J into 0. So Barkhausen criteria in terms of the complex number if we write, so 1 plus J into 0 is there. Means the imaginary term of this loop gain is 0. Means here in the oscillator, the loop gain is always a real and imaginary term has to be a 0. So we can write that the imaginary term is 0 because the loop gain of the amplifier is real. Correct? So what is my imaginary term? That is R1 omega C2 minus 1 upon omega R2 C1 and this is equal to 0. And therefore we can say the omega square is equal to 1 upon R1 R2 C1 C2. Omega square is 1 upon R1 R2 C1 C2. And if we have, remember, here this is a general expression. If the R1 R2 are different, C1 and C2 are different, then we can say that the frequency of oscillation is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of R1 R2 C1 C2. But in normal case, then R1 is always equal to R2 and let us say it is equal to R. C1 is equal to C2, let us say it is equal to a C. Then my frequency of oscillation is comes out to be 1 upon 2 pi RC. So, in a wind bridge, whatever the frequency is going to be generated or the frequency is going to be selected by this network is that is 1 upon 2 pi RC. Now we want to find out what should be the gain of the minimum gain of the amplifier for sustained oscillation. Remember. So in that case, if you see, what is my expression for a gain of the amplifier? That is a AV equal to 1 plus R1 by R2 plus C1 by C2. Because my imaginary term is equal to 0. And therefore, here we write G into 0. Imaginary term is 0. And if we take a R1 equal to R2 and the C1 is equal to C2, then the gain of the amplifier comes out to be a 1 plus 1 plus 1, and that is 3. And here you can see the sign. It is a plus 3. It is not minus 3. If it is a negative sign, then the phase difference is 180 degree. Here the gain is a plus 3, means the phase difference is representing a 0 degree. So, for a sustained oscillation, the gain of the two-stage amplifier has to be equal to a 3 or more than 3. If it is say more than 3, then your signal is going to get distorted. So normally the gain of the amplifier must be equal to 3 or slightly higher than the 3. You will get a sustained oscillation. And the frequency of this oscillation you can calculate with the help of this formula 1 upon 2 pi RC. Correct? Now what is the advantage of this oscillator circuit? Here it has a number of advantages. That if you look at this, first of all, that the required gain of amplifier is very small, and that is AV equal to 3. So whenever the gain of the amplifier is small, less, then it is a stable amplifier. So here required gain is only a 3. So the oscillator will be also a stable oscillator. So here we can say it is a stable oscillator. That is one of the advantages. What is the second advantage? That it can generate the frequency up to a 1 megahertz easily. This network cannot be used for the higher frequency generation like a 10 megahertz or 20 megahertz. But if your requirement is less than 1 megahertz, then this is a very suitable oscillator circuit. Because the required value of resistance and capacitor will be there. For a higher frequency, one very small value of the capacitor is required, and in that case, the stay capacitance is going to be affected, so you cannot use that one. If you see the third advantage, easily we can change the frequency. Remember. So, if I want to change the frequency, then what I have to do? I have to change the resistance R1 and R2. So, here the resistance R1 and R2, they are the variable and they are connected to each other. So, if I will change the R1, automatically R2 will also change simultaneously. Same way, here the capacitor C1 and C2 is there. So, if you change this value of the capacitor, then also the frequency will also change. So, normally, whatever the AFO we have in our laboratory or the function generator, then in that case this wind bridge oscillator is widely used. So if you look at this function generator which we are using in the laboratory, here you can change the frequency with the help of this knob. Remember. So this is for a frequency changing, and it is nothing but it is a variable resistance. And variable resistance means it is R1 and R2. Right? So by changing this, you can change the continuously the frequency. Then what is the capacitor C1 and C2? Here the multiplier is written. So multiplier is written means if you want to generate the frequency between the 200 Hz to 2000 kilohertz, then you can change this potentiometer. Now above 2 kilohertz to 20 kilohertz, you want to change, then the capacitor is going to be changed. So here whatever the multipliers are there, it is a capacitor. Capacitor C1 and C2 are there. So when we change the range of the AFO means we are changing the capacitor C1 and C2. And in between whatever the frequency we are going to set, that is with the help of a variable resistor. Now in the same way, here also you can see that this potentiometer is for the frequency, and that is my R1 and R2. So continuously I can change the frequency, a 100 Hz, 101, 105, 110, like that in between you can change. And here we have a multiplier knob. So when we press this button, then the range of the frequency, oscillation frequency is going to be changed. As you can see here, it is a 200, 2 kilohertz, 20 kilohertz are there. Means we are changing the value of capacitor C1 and C2. So in this way, this wind bridge oscillator is widely used for making a AFO or a function generator. It is very popular oscillator circuit. Now in the next lecture, we will discuss about a RC phase shift oscillator.